Alright, what up YouTube? I'm going to be very chill when I come across in this video. I'm going to talk about something I've never really talked about genuinely, like not on this channel, not around other people, but I've had these conversations with myself. I think I'm weird, but it's true. Today's video is going to be about relationships. And I feel like if there's anything that's glorified, if there's anything that people put pressure on, like a lot of people put pressure on the timeline of your life, by this age you should have a stable job or whatever. But if there's one thing everyone glorifies and everyone like puts on a pedestal, I'm not trash talking relationships or anything. They're a very natural, normal thing to have. It's a very human thing to want. But if there's anything that seems like a must on this planet, I will say it is relationships. And if I were to be so honest and truthful on this channel, over the past 2 weeks of myself, okay, if you've been keeping up with my channel, if you're new, I'll just explain it as usual. I got into my desired course. Not really the underdog anymore. I don't really need to prove anything because all the questions about myself, whether I was right about myself or not, has been answered. Yes, it took hard work, it took dedication, it took discipline, all the shit you hear on social media. But now that I'm right about myself, I've been asking myself the most ridiculous question on earth. Relationships, like, where's my person? And we've all asked that question before. Like, I'm not trying to come across this channel and it only be about like discipline, mindset, and focus. That is like one of the main things I talk about. But I'm also human. This is a natural thing that we all desire, and I would be lying if I said I don't care about it, because that's not true. So here's the thing. There's a lot of people who believe they need this thing. They must have it. And I've been there. When you don't have it, you feel like it's like a condition. There's something wrong with you. It's like a disease. You don't know why. You don't really have this thing that everyone else seems to have or craves. But I'll tell you the truth, not everyone actually. A lot more people than you think are in the same position as you. It's kind of weird how the mind just kind of like sees it once and kind of like asserts that type of like thought onto everyone, like projects that thought on everyone's doing something right and I'm not. Dude, here's the freaking truth. A lot of people feel the way you do. There's nothing wrong with you. That's the first thing I wanted to say. And the next thing I want to say is the only way you're going to attract the person who's right for you. And look, like I've come to realization, like we all have these ideals. We want the perfect person. We want them to look a certain way. We want them to be a certain way. But the truth is, that's all in your imagination. Stop daydreaming, bro. You cannot, it's not like your dreams are your mission. Like you cannot, I guess, manifest another person into real life. The only reason that applies to your goals and dreams is because that is something you can directly control. You can control the type of work you put in. You can control the type of discipline you want out of yourself, your mindset, and naturally that will attract the goals you want. So if we were to take that mindset and apply it to relationships, and again, like I'm not saying another person is an object, I'm just saying really think about it. The current version of you right now, I know we're really good at like chasing our dreams, I know we're really good at this, but this is like a whole different game that people don't seem to understand. I used to truly believe, especially when Andrew Tate came out, hear me out before you click off, if I just become better, be more jacked, be more disciplined, have more achievements, then I'll finally earn a person. And that's something no one has probably told you yet. You cannot earn another individual. They are not a trophy. They are not a prize. It's something, the game field for this, you cannot win. It's just something that is natural. What you can do is become the person, using the mindset I just described, become the person who naturally attracts or aligns that person. And you've heard this shit before, don't get me wrong. I am just like you. I have asked myself all the questions on planet Earth. I have tried to decode the problem for myself on why I can solve every problem in my life except this. And I've been there, I know you've been there, but that's because this specific thing isn't really a problem. It's not something inside of you can fix. It is something you, I guess, can just simply be. Like, you can't, relationships are a messy thing if they haven't told you. Like, I know on social media and all that stuff, they make it seem perfect and like like everyone has it figured out, but no, that's not true. You're not gonna have a perfect person. That imagination or thing you have in your head isn't, I'm not saying it won't happen, but I'm just saying, like, the only way stuff like this will happen, as I said before, you have to become the person who just naturally is around people like that. Like, for example, the friends you have. You're naturally going to have the people in your life because in a way that's kind of the person you are, if you get that. And for this, it'll only come when you genuinely stop needing it to. And I know you probably think you don't need it right now, but subconsciously there's still that kind of internal pressure. The best advice I can give, because I don't really have an answer for this, is just keep being you. Keep getting after yourself, keep becoming better, and you don't need to like put pressure on yourself to be perfect all the time, because what I've found out when I tried to be perfect all the time, I've only attracted people who I guess liked me for that version of myself. They didn't actually like me. And do you really want to be that person who feels like they have to constantly perform all the time just to feel worthy? I used to think that was the only way, but that's the only way that is being shown to you. And I don't want to live like that. Who wants to live like that? It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to prove something all of the time for somebody else's opinion. That's wrong, and that's kind of unhealthy. But here's what you do need to do. Just be you. Do what makes you happy. Be confident in yourself. And look, like, obviously everyone is insecure. I have insecurities, but, you know, I embrace them. That's all you can do. This is not a problem you can solve. This is just something that you just have to be content and okay with. And that's, I feel like when you're just kind of letting life flow and letting things happen naturally without having subconscious pressure on yourself to make someone else appreciate you in a way, like make things go the way you want, I feel like that's when just things naturally flow. And that's when you'll attract what's right for you. It's kind of hard for us ambitious people because, you know, we actually are so intentional with our time and what we do. We're not actually like, I don't know about you, but I'm not necessarily like going out into the world and, you know, having fun or like hanging out or doing all this stuff where you'll naturally meet people. I'm focused on my goal because I kind of want to be around people who are also focused. And if you're true to yourself, being ambitious, that's what you want too. You don't want someone who's going to derail you and waste your time and take more than they give. You want someone who can build and elevate with you. And that's the most beautiful thing, in my opinion. I don't really know if that helped. You know, this is probably like the one thing I'm not very clear about in my speech because it's literally like an unsolvable thing. You cannot solve a spirit. You cannot solve another person. We're not perfect. There's no like do X and get Y. So that's all the advice I can give. I hope it helped. I'm sorry if it didn't, but that's all I know. That's all I know how to go about it. And when you stop trying to solve it and just, I guess, start flowing in your life and stop expecting that is supposed to happen, then I guess you just kind of release all that internal pressure. And if it does happen, or when it does happen, don't feel like you need to start performing or, I guess, yeah, trying to make them stay in your life. I've been there, and I need to take my own advice because all that's going to do is repulse them away. Just enjoy the moment. If it goes anywhere or not, you can't do anything about it. Just trust God has a plan for you and He's looking out for you. So whatever happens, happens. But just stay true to yourself and do what's true to you. That's all the message I wanted to say. I really hope that helped you. Yeah, stay dedicated as always. Sorry, one more thing I wanted. Hold up, let me adjust my camera. That looks ridiculous. All right, one more thing I wanted to add in that little speech I just gave. This is probably the most important thing of it all. Shit, it's so windy. God, fuck off for like 2 seconds, okay? I'm trying to record a video. Alright, one more thing I wanted to add in this video. Like, can you fuck off, seriously? Alright, one more thing I wanted to add in this video that I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. Let me adjust my camera like a little bit. Yeah, one more thing I wanted to add in this video that I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. Like, there's one more thing that I used to question a lot, and this is something kind of important. What they don't, like, I don't know, with me, I used to question myself a lot and think like, how come so many people can get in and out of being with people, but I can't even find one person? And that is a question that is probably one of the things that used to make me spiral when I used to think about these things. Like, how is it that someone who's not as disciplined as me, someone who's not as ambitious as me, someone who doesn't have like this fire inside of them, and you know you're a confident individual, you know you're a capable individual, you know there's a lot of amazing traits about you that other people lack and still seem to find the answer to the question you can't seem to answer within yourself. And here's the brutally honest truth, and I'll tell you, I'm so sick and tired of seeing everyone on social media gatekeep this bullshit. I'm gonna be so real with you. Here's the thing. You being ambitious, you being the way you are, and still asking like why you don't have your person, is simply because of this. As I said before, relationships are not something you can achieve. There's just something that simply naturally aligns for the right person you are, if that makes sense. If you haven't heard, you attract what you are. So the people who can get in and out all of the time, what you're seeing isn't actually like really a relationship. It's more surface level, showy dopamine with another person. Like, I know it seems like, you know, they've been together for a while. I know these people seem like, you know, they can find people like once every month. But if I were to be so honest with you, you naturally being the way you are, having real goals, having real discipline, doing real shit, not only does that filter out a lot of average people, even if you haven't achieved your goal yet, you simply having a nervous system that you're trying, that's already wired, or you're rewiring to be like this, disciplined and actually want to achieve better, it's going to naturally just filter out people. And because relationships are like a natural thing, you simply can't attract average things because you're not average. And I know, like, you're thinking, what do you mean, bro? I don't have all my achievements, I don't have all my goals, I don't have everything I want out of this life. And look, that is true, but that doesn't cancel the fact that you're not average. Just because on the outside you're average, if that makes sense, internally you're not. And relationships are kind of like an eternal soul-to-soul thing. Like, I know you see, it seems like people genuinely love each other and they can find perfect people all the time, but that's not true. I used to think the fact that I'm so disciplined, I'm so ambitious, that should make me like number one. That should make me have everyone I want, attract all the, I guess, the girls I want, whatnot, but that's not true. What it actually does is it cancels people out, it filters out. So eventually, as you're becoming, as you're building, as you're growing, the right person will fall into place, but you cannot, and I mean this, you cannot need this to happen. Stop having that subconscious internal pressure, okay? These things are very, very like soul to soul. I can't explain it, I don't have an answer for it, but I just wanted to add that one more point in before I conclude this video. So yes, as I said before, the best thing you can do for yourself is just keep getting after it, keep becoming better, keep becoming the person you know you're supposed to be. And that's when you're gonna walk into rooms you're supposed to be in, and stop forcing momentum in your life, stop forcing alignment. Let it flow. Let yourself naturally be. You don't need to perform, you don't need to be perfect. That's what I've realized over these 19 years of my life. Once you be yourself, you're gonna step into rooms that are meant for you. You're gonna be surrounded by people you're meant to be around. Life's gonna naturally reflect you back to you, and eventually you will have that person in your life. Eventually you will attract it, but it will only happen if you stop needing it to. And I don't want to lie and say like it will happen or it won't. I don't know, I don't have an answer for it, but this is the conclusion I've come down to. I don't know who this needed to help. I don't know who needed to hear this, but that is all I wanted to say. So yeah, keep staying dedicated and never give up, and I will always see you in the next one.